granddaughters yesterday. Rudy, where do we stand? Why? I understand you and Bernie immediately upon finding this information talked to outside people that were specialists and special victim unit prosecutors. Everybody concurred. You had to go to Delaware. You go down there. You spend an entire day. You walk through the information. They dump it to the AG. It's supposed to be the FBI. But what does that mean? Where does this stand? What's the status? Has there been an intervention? Has there been an interview? People want to know. We're getting blown up day in and day out. What's the status of the victim? And can you tell us what the apparatus is doing, particularly the FBI that we spend, I don't know, tens or hundreds of billions of dollars a year, financing? What's the current status on this?
Well, are we talking about the kids?
Yes.
Well, I mean, there's just a statement here that demands investigation. Hunter Biden admits to his father 3 years ago, I create and caused a very unsafe environment for the kids. Then all you do is look at the photographs, of which there are 29,000, and you can see, indeed, he does create an unsafe environment for the kids. He smokes crack all around the house. He walks around nude. He has orgies, 2 men, 2 women. He is constantly laying on couches and here admiring himself. So, yeah, and they can't possibly avoid the crack smoking. It's ubiquitous. I mean, I can't describe it any other way. So
there's a photo up right now of him.
When I showed this, plus the photographs to the New York City police detectives, they said this is their no-brainer. You got to report it, and they got to jump right on top of it. Well, they punted to the FBI instead, who had done nothing about it for 8 months.
Is this just you and Bernie Kerik trying to intrude in a failed presidential race of President Trump, that he has no plan, he has no corona? This is what they're saying. He has no coronavirus plan. Mark Meadows raised the white flag. He's got no health care plan. They hand Leslie Stahl a book of executive orders, but it's no plan. So he doesn't know anything about the second term. The left is hammering him every day. The mainstream media hammering him every day. So he gets his two of his lowest life hammers. That would be Bernie Kerik and Rudy Giuliani, with an assist from Beelzebub, Steve Bannon, right? And what they're pushing is Jake Tapper says it's heinous. What Rudy Giuliani's pushing can't even be talked about. It's so heinous. Is this just you trying to prove your relevance and intruding into a presidential campaign, or is this rise to the level of something that's serious?
This is probably the worst criminal activity I've ever seen in terms of effect on government. And I've prosecuted 100 public corruption cases, including congressmen, commissioners in New York City, 70 police officers. I mean, I've done a lot of corruption cases, and I've done them as RICO cases. This is the strongest case I've ever seen. It's also the most shocking. This is the highest level of government where I've seen this kind of corruption. The vice president of the United States for 8 years was thoroughly corrupt. He was available to the highest bidder. The documents prove it. His son says for 30 years he's been doing this, and he's got to pay for all the expenses, and he's got to kick back half to the old man. I mean, what do we need beyond that, Steve? I mean, I've proved a lot of cases on 1/10 of that. This is a concerted effort to elect a crooked Democrat to be the head of this country, because a lot of the people in league with him are crooked. Big tech, completely crooked. A lot of the big businesses doing tremendous amount of business in China. They don't care about the United States. They don't care about our people. All they care about is the enormous amounts of money they're making in China. And this is also, we would be electing a national security problem into the White House. Not just Hunter, Joe. The last business I can tell Joe was in, he was in a business where he was going to get $30,000 a year, $30 million a year, and he was in business with 3 Chinese communists, one of whom has already been executed, and the other one is in federal prison. The first person he asked for when he got arrested was his co-conspirator, James Biden. I mean, it is figuratively and literally true that the Bidens are in bed with the CCP.
Okay, why